Okay. All right, folks, we're going to start. I know some people are still walking to the tables, but for those of you that are at your tables already, if you would please stop the conversation, we can get moving here. So good morning. We would like to begin our gathering with a traditional blessing from native Andrea Perkins. Andrea.
Okay, good morning. Like she said, my name is Andrea Perkins. I'm a member of the Chinook and Haida Nations. If you guys don't know what that is, that's in the Pacific Northwest. Woo! Just a couple things before I start praying. One is I'm very grateful that I was invited to do this. Not often are Native people included in spaces like this, and it's also important to acknowledge that no matter where you are in the Americas, that you're standing on indigenous land. So I thank the people who thank you. And second, that it doesn't matter what you believe or how you pray or what you call creator, it's the intention that you put into this space right now. And that's what I'm going to be asking for, is that the intention of this space be good intention. So as I'm doing the blessing, just think about why you're here, what work you want to do, and the kind of space you want to create while you're here this weekend. So what I'm doing right now is I'm smudging with our 4 sacred medicines, which is tobacco, and cedar, and sweetgrass, and sage. And the smoke, I'm sending the smoke out to all of you to help cleanse this space and help bless this space and to help bring in, like I said, those good intentions. Creator, I ask that you bless this space. I ask that you bless the people within this space. I ask that you open their hearts and their minds to the work that needs to be done. I ask that you fill this space with love and compassion and understanding that our nation faces a lot of struggles, so many struggles. That you uplift those people that are in the struggle and give them strength and courage to continue. I ask that you bless the people that are not here in this room, but are actually out in the field right now doing that work. I ask that you bless me while I do this prayer. I also ask that you bless this land, bless the water, bless the soil, and that we keep in mind that the work that we do not only affects the people, but affects the land, and affects the water, and affects the quality of life we have on this planet, and that we remember that. I want to also at this time lift up those that we have lost in the struggle. Those 40 people that were taken away from us last week in an act of violence, so unimaginable. Let the hate be gone. Let the fear be gone. And let love and kindness and compassion come in. And that we heal together as a people, not separated but connected. Because as Indigenous people, we were taught that everybody and everything is connected. Especially when we come together in spaces like this to do work, it's important that we remember that we're all connected, that we all have different struggles, but we're connected as one people. I also ask that you think about that you're not just doing work for today's generation, but 7 generations to come, because that's what we believe. We believe that we're not just doing work right now, for the here and the now. We're doing work for our granddaughters, our great-granddaughters. We continue to do that good work for them. In closing, I just want to say thank you, Creator, for this beautiful day, for the sunshine, for this space, for these people. I want to thank you for the good work they've already done and they will continue to do. Aho.
Hello, People's Summit. I'm Jean Ross, co-president for National Nurses United. Aren't you nice? Welcome to today's first session. Wasn't last night inspiring? Now today we have another extraordinary day and night of movement building and getting to know one another and some festivity. Now first I have a question. Who has downloaded the People's Summit app? I can't tell from up here. Is that everybody? It looks pretty much like it. If you're having trouble, find probably the youngest person at your table and have them help you load that app. It'll be essential to have during this morning's table discussions, so please download it now and post a selfie. You can also use the app to create a personal agenda, to answer poll questions, and to get the latest information on room locations because they do change. So check it before going to your breakout sessions. Those room numbers have changed. Before we start the formal program, please check out the event guidelines for productive and respectful interaction. Let me just recap them for you. First, let's recognize and respect each other's feelings, backgrounds, and cultural differences. This is the rule of our community. Our collective experiences enrich all of us. Next, let's recognize and respect each other's feelings, backgrounds, and cultural differences. Let's build a real movement to change the world. Let's assume we're all here in good faith to work together. Following, we feel passionately about our issues and ideas, and that's as it should be. What we need to maintain is enough insight to know when to step back and leave space for others. We want everyone to have a say. Next, let's maintain a safe space for everyone. If it's you making someone uncomfortable, please stop. If you're uncomfortable, please say something. And if you see a situation escalating, let us know so we can help diffuse the situation. Now that's it. Common sense for our collective well-being. Are we prepared to commit to each other as a collective to follow these guidelines? Okay. I'm glad. It's really just about continuing the good feelings from last night throughout the conference. We are all in this together, so we act like it, right? Now, our first session features amazing activists. They're telling short, personal stories about a campaign for justice that shows solidarity in action, linking issues, identities, and interests in shared struggles that inspire our movement. Please enjoy Stories from the Field.
May it please the court, I'd like to start off with a bad joke. A man sees his boss driving to work in a brand new Mercedes. The man says, "Wow, sir, that sure is a nice car." His boss replies, "You know, if you keep coming into work early and you work really, really hard, then I can get an even better one next year." Sorry, folks, socialist jokes are only funny if everybody gets them. On a more serious note, I was raised one of three by my dad in the dusty city of El Paso, Texas. Every day, I watched my old man leave for work before the sun had come up, only to return well after it had gone down. Even when he was home, he wasn't always there, as the stress and exhaustion of work robbed us of his attention. Recently, while debating politics with him, I asked, "Well, do you think it's fair that you worked so hard your entire life and still we struggled?" With which he replied, "Well, I could have always worked harder, I think." I just about fell over. It tore my heart in two to hear my dad suggest that we struggled because he didn't work hard enough, though his constant aches and pains told a very different story. I was asked to come up here and say a few words, and if you please, I would like to share with you a series of events that transpired just this past week. There is this Wendy's down where I live, and if y'all know anything about Texas, it's one, it's hot as hell, and two, it's ground zero for the absolute worst working conditions. Both of these factors play a role in my story. At this particular Wendy's, the AC unit had been busted for 2 years. Temperatures were reaching 100 degrees, and you could practically see the freckles melting off of Wendy's pretty little face. Workers were complaining to management on the daily. "We need a new AC unit." "Wait until remodel," they'd say. "We're remodeling the whole shop." This was quite an insult to the workers, as the remodel wasn't scheduled until August. "Don't worry, we're fixing the AC. We're just waiting for the summer to end." But you know what the workers did? You all know what they did. They went on strike because they knew that silence never won rights. They are not handed down from above, they are forced by pressures from below. And only struggle produces social change. 1 hour before the strike was scheduled, we received news that the GM had just ordered a new AC unit. Right? Direct action gets the goods, people. Nevertheless, we couldn't let management off that easy. It was time for the bosses to feel the heat. So we had a victory rally instead. And it shook me to my core to see the workers rejoice in their victory. It was so powerful. The biggest challenge is unlearning the things that we are force-fed growing up, recognizing that we have all internalized these oppressions, including my dad. These shackles can be broken through struggle, through direct action, and through solidarity. Organizing with United Students Against Sweatshops has given me something beautiful. By giving me a sense of empowerment, it has shown me a path to liberation for myself, my friends, and my family. Let us all reflect on what brought us here and who brought us here, so that our loved ones can join us on this journey as we unshackle ourselves from these chains. Solidarity, comrades.
Hi. I'm a nurse. Where are my nurses? That's right. Everyone, I need you to look at all these nurses here with you today. I need you to understand that nurses are here for you. It doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, what religion you ascribe to, what you believe. Nurses are here for you. We are patient advocates. And as patient advocates, our advocacy doesn't stop at the bedside. It goes beyond the hospital walls. I'm here today to share my story of organizing. I was a nurse at Huntington Hospital in Pasadena, California. And as a nurse, I want to be able to provide high quality, safe patient care. And I wasn't being able to do that. Huntington decided that money was more important than people. We were dealing with short supplies, short staff, and we were being overworked. It became really clear to me one day that the hospital was more focused on money instead of people. When one night, as I was caring for a patient on life support, it was decided that this patient wasn't going to survive. The family wanted to let this patient go peacefully. As a nurse, you're there, you understand that patient isn't your only priority, it's the family too, it's their loved ones. And this couldn't be more true in this situation. I knew that I could make an impact on them on the worst day of their life. They were asking me questions like, do you think he can hear me? Is he gonna feel pain? Does he know we're here? As a nurse, you can't always answer these questions, but you can support those loved ones. After I supported that family, I left the patient's room. My manager immediately pulled me into her office, told me that, hey, you're gonna be getting a raise today, but it's not because you're trying to organize the nurses. It has nothing to do with that. My manager pulled me away from my patient's deathbed to talk about money. It couldn't be more clear on what their priorities were. Right away, I knew I needed to be more active. I needed to stand up. I needed to organize my nurses. In response, Huntington fired me a month before my wedding. Do you think that I gave up? Do you think that my termination silenced me? No. Obviously, because I'm here, right? A week after I was terminated, I marched right back into Huntington with the support of the community, the clergy, and my coworkers, and delivered a petition to the administration to reinstate me and to stop intimidating nurses. My march didn't stop at Huntington. It took me all the way to the White House, to Washington, D.C., where I presented President Obama with a stethoscope engraved with the message, listen to nurses. Nurses are the heart of patient care. In closing, I just want to remind you that nurses, we cannot stay silent. To my activist brothers and sisters, you cannot stay silent. You will have many troubles along this road to justice, but I encourage you, I implore you, I beg you to stay strong, because we are here for you. We care for you. Thank you.
Good morning. I don't believe this is a political revolution. Good morning. I come here with a quote that I have in my notebook. It says, if you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come here because you believe that your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. These are the words of Leela Watson, an Australian Aboriginal woman. And I believe wholeheartedly that our liberation is bound up together, that we will not be liberated in this country if black people are not liberated, that our liberation is intertwined. So if there's one of us who is not free, none of us are free. I didn't come to a political campaign. I came to organize, I came to shock the establishment, I came to work against the status quo that has done nothing for people like you and me. I also came to make history, and you, my sisters and brothers, have made history in this country. I also came to a revolution to tell people who my community was, not what my community is not. I came to this political revolution and I stand here today unapologetically Muslim, unapologetically Palestinian, and unapologetically from Brooklyn, New York. This political revolution was here before Bernie Sanders got here, and it's gonna live beyond Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders came to show us what our potential was. And our potential is great, sisters and brothers, if we continue to unite and work together. I come from a community in this country that continues to be vilified, demonized, dehumanized. Campaigns that walk over us, campaigns that walk by us. Bernie Sanders came to our communities. He came to our mosques. He asked us what our hopes and aspirations and dreams were for this country. And when you pay attention to a community, when you uplift a community, guess what happens? The biggest political upsets in history in states like Michigan. When we organize, we win, sisters and brothers. Recently, all of us, the world, but in particular the American Muslim community, remembers a great man. And this man is an inspiration to all of us. And his heart is at the core of what we are trying to do here. And that is the champ, our champ, my champ, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali says, I ain't gotta be what anyone wants me to be. And I ain't afraid to be who I wanna be and think how I wanna think. But the other reason why I came to this campaign is because the word impossible was not part of this campaign. It was not part of this political revolution. And I'm gonna end with this quote from Muhammad Ali that says, impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men and women who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Impossible is temporary, impossible is nothing. If you are ready to fight for it and work for it, everything is possible. On with the revolution, sisters and brothers.
Peace, family. I came into this work through the lens of my mother. Watching her, witnessing her work 3 different jobs in order to make ends meet. To support my brother, my younger brother and I every single day. I came into this work looking and witnessing my brother struggle in school, not being provided the proper resources to go to college. I came into this work not understanding that I was poor and being shamed by it. Trayvon Martin, Ayanna Stanley Jones, Rakia Boyd, Maya Hall, Michael Brown. In 2014, the movement for Black Lives reemerged and has transformed the politics of this country. Black people everywhere have resisted on the streets, in their schools, in the halls of Congress, all over the world, to say and demand that Black lives matter. I'm here today because Black people are resisting in huge numbers, and we're just getting started. The movement for Black Lives is a fight for dignity. The movement for Black Lives is a fight for opportunity and not just the reality that Black people are just going to survive in this country, but we're going to transform it and are thriving in this country. Our members in North Carolina pushed back against the attacks against public education and attacks against HBCUs. Organizations like Black Youth Project 100, who took over this very convention center for hours when the International Association of Chief of Police were here holding their conference with law enforcement all over the world. And organizations like Black Youth Project 100 and Assata's Daughters helped win a victory after Laquan McDonald, the cover-up in Chicago here, was made and booted Anita Alvarez, who made that decision. This is where we are. This is our power. This is Black power. If everyone can stand up, if you can, if you're able, and repeat after me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Peace and power, my brothers and sisters.
Ahau, Buju, Terra Indígena Casa Jakanashi Mung, Minawa Jabawe, Kwa Indígena Casa Nishinabe Mung, Makwa and Dudame, Gojajing and Dunjaba. My name is Tara Houska. I am Bear Clan from Couchiching First Nation, and I stand here as an Indigenous woman. I stand here also as a Native American advisor to Bernie Sanders. Feel the burn. But I stand here as an Indigenous voice, one voice out of 5.2 million Indigenous people across this country that are largely forgotten in what we now call the United States. Thanks to an American narrative that left us hanging at Manifest Destiny, we are largely forgotten. Our stories are not in the media. We are living in a country that is originally ours, yet most people do not even understand our issues. They don't know that we still exist. But we are not the noble, savage, vanished warriors that sports mascots and racial stereotypes make us out to be. We have undergone genocide. We have undergone every atrocity imaginable, and we are still here. And we still fight for what is ours. We fight for our children. We fight for Mother Earth. We fight for us all and the next generation. Often indigenous communities are next to fossil fuel extractive industry projects. When it is out of sight, out of mind, it's someone else's problem. It's our problem. We are often on the front lines. We are always fighting for our very lives. When these industries come through and contaminate our drinking water, we cannot move. These are our children at stake. But when we fight and we stand up, we win. I don't know if any of you have heard of a little project called Keystone XL. Keystone XL was a large, major infrastructure project that was set to go through the entire United States, go through the Ogallala Aquifer, which is 80% of the drinking water for the indigenous peoples in that region. We stood up, small communities of people, grassroots organizers, coalitions of landowners, ranchers, Native American people, and we've defeated a multi-billion-dollar industry. And it's no wonder that someone like Bernie Sanders joined our cause. He's a human rights champion. He's an environmental advocate. He has done these things for his entire life. He has deep integrity. And he recognized that a country must be treated by how it treats its most vulnerable. We have to look at every single voice, every single vote. It matters. And it represents who we are as Americans. This is not just an indigenous issue. This is an American issue. He also recognized that this is a movement. This is a political revolution. This is not just one person. We cannot operate in silos. We cannot continue to stand by ourselves. Our causes must be joined together. We must all come together and no longer fight for crumbs, because together we are powerful. Together we can defeat a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Together we can change the narrative. We can change what America stands for. We can defy the mainstream media. Together, we can win.
Wake up, America. Being HIV positive since 1995, I've continually had to fight for services and programs that promote my wellness and wellness of people like me. So it was a crowning achievement when, after an 8-year battle with our state legislature, that Vocal New York won a victory for the 30% rent cap, which allowed people with HIV to submit 30% of their monthly income toward their rent. That would free up money for other important things like food, clothing, transportation. It was a very empowering moment, right in line with the other incremental victories that we have been winning throughout time, that chipped away at the power of the dominant narrative. Your powerful presence here today tells me that above and beyond those incremental victories, that we are on the precipice of an overwhelming movement, that political revolution that the country needs so badly. I know it takes a lot more to give than we already have, but it's okay. We already know the impact of an economy that works for only 1% of the people, because we live it every day. But we can't allow our elected officials to buy into that 1% agenda. Because we know when they're elected into a system that is already designed for our failure. So we have to unite. Yes, thank you. Lost my place for a minute there. Thank you much. Thank you. So in building our new America, and proclaiming a new America, we have a responsibility of creating an economy that works for our new America. And there's a way that we can recover the resources that we have lost and jumpstart this political, socio-economical revolution that we're about to embark on. Does anybody know anything about the financial transaction tax on Wall Street? Many of you know it as the Robin Hood tax, right? Do you know what it can do? It can create enough funding to repair a crumbling infrastructure, create a financial system that will support local banks and small businesses that promote economic growth. It can also create an education system that doesn't leave our students in debt for eternity. Now, for years, over the last decade, I have been literally singing the praises of the Robin Hood tax, hoping that it could be a mantra for our new political revolution. Would you like to hear it? You really want to hear it? Yo, Ricky, kick the beat. Yo, my name is Robin, and this is my hood. Those Wall Street speculators up to no good. They're making profits after all the money is spent, then they're leaving only crumbs for the 99%. But I'm here, I'm gonna do it again. I'm taking back my country with all the merry men. Arrest the speculators, cause it's plain to see that they only want a profit. Everybody after me say we need a Robin Hood tax. Say we need a Robin Hood tax. One more time, say we need a Robin Hood tax. Are you ready for the revolution? Are you ready for the revolution? Then let's get it on.